Yeah, this DJ Winn, man, and you checking out Street Heat, Wade to Fame. You already know what it is.
God, but today I feel like I'm drowning. But I know deep I have to know.
DJ Winn, how you doing today, bro?
Man, I'm blessed, my brother.
It's good to be there, man. Hey, it's for everybody to know, man, what platforms can they catch you on?
Pretty much everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, pretty much all platforms.
Yeah, it's all DJ Winn.
Yeah. Music too. You know what I mean? I got my music too on Spotify, Apple Music.
Yes, definitely. So, where exactly are you from? Exactly. Like where were you born and raised?
Well, I was born upstate New York.
New York.
But I moved down here when I was 10 to St. Pete. Well, I moved down here to Pinellas County, and I lived in Clearwater. I lived in Conner Gardens.
Okay.
And then, which don't even exist now. Anybody know?
Right.
Way back then, there was the housing projects in Clearwater, and then from there, when I ended up moving into a foster home, I ended up coming to St. Pete. So I've been in St. Pete for 35 years.
35 years.
So
basically, this business
it's home. Florida's home, man. You know what I mean? To me, I'm a Floridian.
You remember the transition? Was it rough?
From up there down here? Not really. I was just a kid. I moved down when I was 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, it really wasn't too rough like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just another day in the life, huh?
Yeah. So.
Got you on that though. So when you was, what were some of your things you liked to do when you was coming up as a kid?
As a kid?
Yeah.
Like a kid?
Yeah, kid.
Shoot. Up north or down here?
Right. What's either one?
I mean, up north, I mean, as a kid, we used to play like football, flag football, not flag football, but what they say, kill the
carry?
Yeah, kill the carry, throw the ball up, you know, football. Yeah, I played like little league football for a little bit, played a little baseball, you know. The thing is, like, when I grew up in a different era, so like, everybody was outside and active. You know what I mean? We might have had an Atari. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't really show them age, you know what I'm saying? You know, but I'm just saying, so like, if you was lucky to have one of them, then you could play video games. Most of the kids back then, they was out running around and, you know.
Yeah, I feel
nowadays, it's like, ain't nobody active because everybody inside for the most part, you know what I mean, on video games.
Because technology done took off to a whole nother plane now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I remember dirt bikes, get on, hit the mounds, shoot.
Yeah. I used to ride bicycles too, though. Like, when I moved to Florida, when I was 10, so I moved to Florida when I was 10, and then when I was 12, I ended up going into a foster home. But them 2 years of living in Florida, like, I used to ride BMX bikes, played a little football, you know, just outside sports like regular kids do, you know what I mean?
How was that?
I remember, it was cool. I remember going to, I used to live over there in Rainbow Village, right next to Taylor Park. And I remember as a kid, I remember as a kid going back there, me and my older brother, we went back there with a little fishing pole. We put a little bread on a fishing pole and we went back in the woods and caught a little baby gator, because we ain't know nothing about gators. It was probably about a 3-4 4-foot gator. But we caught it, took it home, put it in the bathtub. But we ain't never seen one, because we were from up north, you know.
Right.
Like, so up north, like, when it would rain, you would walk down the sidewalk and it'd be thousands of worms coming out the ground. Like, it'd just be everywhere. So down here, the difference is you ain't got worms, you got lizards everywhere.
Yeah.
So it'd be lizards run everywhere. You got alligators down here. So we took the little alligator and we just seen what it was, really. And then we only kept it in the tub for about 20 minutes, because we already knew, like, we ain't supposed to have it.
I would have been nervous.
Yeah, so we took it back and let it go back in the water or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure the mama was looking for it or whatever, because we was in like a bed where we probably really weren't supposed to be, like a little gator bed, they call it.
Right.
You know, but I remember doing that, and yeah, that was pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, because shoot, y'all in the midst of y'all didn't realize danger that y'all was really in.
Yeah, no, for real though. Yeah, yeah. But anything after 12, once I got in the foster home, I really just run away every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be in the streets hustling, just trying to make it. You know what I mean? Like, I can remember just be running away, like not really having nowhere to sleep, sleeping in park benches, behind people's sheds, just because I didn't want to be in a foster home. Like, I could have went to a home, like, and I used to like go for weeks at a time, or months or whatever. Or if I was out there hustling, sell a little bit of weed and a little bit of drugs or whatever, and then I messed that little money up, and I wouldn't have nowhere to go, so I'd be back, back down at the bottom. I go turn myself in, you know what I mean, to,
get your
give me a little, Yeah, so I ended up in like 200 foster homes over time, you know what I mean? Like just going, repeated cycle all over Florida, different things like that.
What high school you attended?
I went to a bunch of them, but mostly Gibbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I went to a bunch of them though. I went to a bunch of high schools, or Northeast for a little bit, Gibbs, Northeast, probably Lakewood, I want to say Osceola, man, a bunch of them. I can't remember all of them, but I lived in a foster home. So I moved a lot. So you move a lot, you're going to be in a different part of the county, you know what I mean?
So you got to meet a lot of different people. That was a good plus too, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I'm good at reading people. Like when I meet somebody, I kind of get a feel for them because I done lived with so many different walks of life of people. Like I used to live on the south side with a lady named Miss Samuel. She used to own a couple foster homes. She used to be on 18th Avenue South and 17th Street. Right off there, you make that right and go down a couple blocks. She had that big 3-story house. I used to stay with her. And then she had another house right over here behind, over there in Wildwood, right behind the Wildwood Meat Mart. And then I used to stay on 15th and 31st with the Wilsons.
Okay.
Miss Wilson, they got the little thing in their front yard. Yeah, I remember my homeboy, I think Jamie Patterson, he had one night, they was trying to get me to go out with him. And they was like robbing cabs or whatever they was doing. And they was like trying to get me to go do it. And I was like, no, I'm straight, you know what I mean? And then he ended up getting locked up. And I think he's still locked up for that, still to this day. And I think this round when I was like 15, 16 then. You feel me?
Yeah, listen to your conscience kept you from getting
jammed.
Yeah,
but I done lived all over the south side, and then I done lived, on the rich side of town too, like, you know what I'm saying, like countryside with the rich folks. So like basically, being in a foster home, I got to experience all walks of life. You know what I mean?
That's a plus, definitely a plus. Shoot. So when did you start getting your mode for music?
I mean, I always loved music as a kid. Like just had a little boom box when I was growing up in New York. You know, we were poor. My mom still was able to give me a little boom box, and just love music. Then when I came to Florida and started listening to like Luke and Jam Pony and all that, I really fell in love with it. So I started like Jam Pony and just at my homeboy house at like 1991, 92, just like making little tapes.
Right.
And then like 93, 94, I was doing house parties. You know what I'm saying? And then
go ahead.
No, I was saying about 96. When I got my first club job, and then from 96 to 2020, I DJ'd a nightclub.
That's what's up, man. Well, when you first started jam ponying, because I tried to do a little jam ponying myself, how do you adjust to be able? It
just came natural. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, you know how sometimes you try something and it's just like, man, I'm good at this.
Right.
And it's just something I tried and I liked it. It was just like a different style of music and DJing, you know, pretty much from where I was from. Because up north was like, you know, the hip hop, Run DMC, and you know, that type of music where I grew up, LL Cool J, EPMD, you know, all that different stuff. And then down here was like Luke and all this other stuff, you know what I mean?
Party stuff.
Party stuff, yeah, with the Jam Pony. But really, my first song I ever learned how to regulate, because I call it regulate Jam Pony. Regulate the mic is really what it is.
Okay.
First song was Dr. Dre. It's a G thing. I think that was the first one. 92, 93 is when I really got good at it.
Yeah. I remember the first song I heard you on, well, in person, was that Shout It Low.
Shout It Low.
Yeah. You know, and from that point on, I've been on it. You know what I'm saying? Man. So I heard you spit a little bars back in the day too. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. First of all, R.I.P. Shout It Low, man. He was a solid dude, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Very
solid
well.
dude, man. Yeah. Shout out R.I.P. Shout It Low. But yeah, man, I was Jam Pony doing house parties. Got my first club job in '96. And then I used to go to Stormers Palace. They used to have teen nights. And my homeboy Chris Craze used to work there.
Okay.
There used to be like 1,200 kids on teen night. And I used to be like, man, you know, I was still coming out just really trying to figure out how to really DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew how to rock the mic. I ain't really know about mixing music or nothing together. You get what I'm saying?
So you was an MC at first?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was DJing, I was just playing the records though, you know what I'm saying? I was doing house parties, just playing the records and doing my little Jam Pony thing, you know, turning up the crowd, so like that, you know, I mean, that's always been my strong point, is talking on that mic, you know what I mean, and just knowing how to interact with the crowd. But at the time, like 1996, my first club job, like, I really didn't know how to mix music that way, I was just learning, you know what I'm saying? And then, around about 96, that same year, I went to Grooveland Studio. Shout out Lewis, he's still there to this day. And I made a rap song called Pop That Cat.
Yeah.
It was with Shout out to it was with my homegirl on there, Elizabeth, we call her Nikolai, and then Red, and then my homeboy Mizzle was on it. So it was us three. We had a song called Pop That Cat. Both of the chicks on there, I passed away.
Oh, man.
Yeah, God bless them, man. Yeah, R.I.P. to them. And my other homeboy that was on that song, he up the road, but I think he coming home soon. Shout out to him. But that was my first song ever. Like, and we used to go to Storm's Palace, and we used to rock out. Like, we made that song hot. Like, they used to love dancing to it. You know, my homeboy Chris Crazy, he used to always show love. You know what I mean? Like, he used to give me pointers on DJing and just little things like that. He always looked like I was a cool dude, but he was more like a techno DJ. But he knew how to do it all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a house party DJ and the actual club DJ? Like, what's the difference in the transition?
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a whole bunch of difference. Just house party is more intimate. It's not as many people. You know what I'm saying? It's more just like, hey, you hanging out with your peoples. You know what I'm saying? Just have fun. You know, we partying. Club is more like it's the same thing. It's just a bigger crowd, and then now it's your job to keep these people entertained.
Okay.
But I will tell you one thing that a lot of DJs might not know and maybe never understood this, but like it's a method to DJing in nightclubs because club owners want to make money. So every DJ that I always knew of, they like, man, we finna keep the crowd rocking all night. But it's not really your job to keep the crowd rocking all night. You got to keep them rocking, and then you gotta bring them down. So they'll go spend that money at the bar.
Right.
Or the DJ ain't playing the hot stuff right now. Now's my time to go to the bar, spend money. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's really more of a method to it. A lot of people probably never hear too many DJs say what I'm saying right now about this. It's a science to it. Yeah, it's a method to it. You know what I mean? Because the bars got to make their money too. So if you always got them on the flow, you know what I mean?
You're right. Ain't nobody.
Yeah, you gotta just learn to circulate that music. You know what I mean?
So basically, you the puppet master.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
Okay,
like
that's
that.
the difference. That's the main difference I can put in it. Yeah, because when I've done a couple of house parties, you know, it's more of a mellow. Yeah, you can say everybody just groove. They just vibe.
Yeah. But yeah,
you got to get on that microphone. Wait. Did y'all forget something? Like, comment, subscribe, share. Coming from yours truly, DJ Funk Junkie. Now back to the interview.
I was in like Clearwater Beach, club called Majestics, Jammins, Stormers Palace. I would DJ and I would fill in for Chris Crazy. Like when he couldn't make it, he would give me the opportunity to fill in. Even on nights like, see when I first came in the game, I was a well-rounded DJ because of being around them. Because I would do Parahhead nights, playing Jimmy Buffett music. I was just trying to get in. I would do 70s disco nights when he couldn't make it. I would just do the hip hop nights. And any advice to any DJs out there, like, if you getting in the game, learn everything. Because if you learn everything, you never gonna go broke. You never gonna worry about getting a job or competing with so many people because you so well rounded, you always gonna have a job. You know what I mean? So at the time, I got away from the being so well rounded. I got stuck in basically like the hood clubs.
Right.
And that's what, you know what I mean, I was in for so long. And I kind of regret that at times because I should have stuck to my well-roundedness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know.
I definitely do.
Yeah.
It's kept me in the game a long time too.
Yeah, you gotta be. You gotta be well-rounded.
What does DJ Funk Junkie stand? Like what does it mean? It means that I'm a funk junkie, man. Right. Anything that you want me to play, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah. And I always tell people too, like, you know, me coming up, you got to grow with technology. If you're not growing with technology, you're going to be lost in the sauce.
Right.
Literally, like, that's the one thing about me. When computers came out, I learned computers. And if I didn't, I'd have been out the game a long time ago.
Right.
So when computers came in and burning CDs and all that, like, I just learned and learned. Information and knowledge is power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's key to anything you do in life. But you know, being most of my life is about music. Like any DJ, anybody coming up, learn to use a computer, learn the new methods of how people promote their music, from Spotify to Apple Music and different things like that.
Yeah. How was the transition from going from?
For me, I grew with it from day one. So for me, I just grew with it as it came. You know what I'm saying? So it's like some people don't grow with it; they wait a long time, and so now they got a lot more to learn at once. So then it becomes difficult, frustrating, and they don't want to do it. See what I'm saying? But the sooner you start, the better it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as soon as I could buy my first computer, and I knew like Nero Express. I don't know if you remember what Nero Express was. They burned a little CD.
Yeah.
Like I was learning them programs, Windows Movie Maker, different things like that.
Only thing with that Nero, like you had to pay for certain things to make it like go. You was on the limit.
I had a tower, and it literally just before I even bought a duplicator. I just had a tower. I was just burning one CD to another CD off of Nero.
Oh, okay.
And I was just doing 10 at a time, and I'd go sell my shit. You know what I mean? 20 at a time, sell my shit. You know what I mean? And then, you know, obviously at that time, like it was a transition part to where, because before that I had a cassette double. I'll make my jam pony tapes, and I would have the cassette thing. The full thing in there, boom, I had So you know, I was already doing that. So you know what I mean. So when CDs came, I had to learn the CD game. I think the first CD burner I had was a Philips. Philips came out with an affordable one, because they had CD burners out. It was just like they wanted $4,000 for it. But you would go to the big studios and see them.
Right.
They had these little Sony burners, wanted money, but when the Philips came out, well, when they came out with it affordable, it was maybe like $300-400. It was like, okay, I can go buy this and, you know, burn one CD to one and burn your master.
I gotta say 1 to 1.
Yeah, but when they start coming out with the duplicators and all that, you feel me? And you started duplicating it, and then, you know what I mean? So just grow, basically, you know what I mean? That's why I tell people, just grow with it, you know what I mean? And educate yourself. That's the key. When you
started doing those mixtapes, like how hard was it to get the rights to the, you know, to do for the people music to?
Well, back then it was nothing. Back then it was just talking about on cassettes. Yeah. Back then it was nothing. It wasn't. People just did it. We did. I mean, we used to wake up and do 10 pony tapes in a day. I used to be at a track spot on like 41st North and 4th Avenue North. We used to call it the 414 spot. We used to be over there, and like people would come by, come pick up their little weed, and then they'll be like, oh, I need a shout out on you know, we need a shout out. So they'll be paying like a couple $100 to get their name shout out, and they'll come back through later, pick up their tape. But that tape would just have us shouting them out specifically through the whole tape, because we would just wake up and just hit record. It wasn't nothing to record 10 pony tapes in a day.
Right.
For us. You know what I mean? We would just do it, you know what I mean? So like back then it really wasn't done. All that music business side of it didn't really come into my life until about 2003 when I linked up with Trans and Gutter Sound and all that. That's when I started really learning the music business. Before that, I was on radio. I know Super Dave used to have an underground station, 96.7 over there in Charles Park.
Right.
We used to be over there all the time on the weekends. I used to go on the radio 10 hours straight, you know what I mean? Because like the radio stations back then, like they wasn't giving, you know, opportunity to people like me, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to earn everything. Like that's why I tell people, like, when people look at my career, they don't really understand, like, I've been doing this. Like, I worked hard for years and years and years and years, and, like, people didn't give me the opportunities that I should have got. But it was cool, though, because it made me work harder.
Right.
So I respected it that they ain't open up the doors that easy for me, because it just made, you know what I mean, made me grind harder, made me just really push.
Made you appreciate it a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. And then this is the thing, like, if it's a closed door here, man, you got to open up your own door. You know what I'm saying? So I say, like, a lot of people that didn't respect me per se or didn't want to help me, like years later, like they had to do nothing but salute me, because they like, man, this dude don't quit. This man, like, he passed us now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, humbly too. Like I ain't, you know what I mean? I ain't look at nobody funny because they ain't show me the love. I just still kept it solid with them and kept it pushing.
Right.
Like I said, it ain't do nothing to make me better. You know what I mean?
So when you came out with Watch Me Work?
So Watch Me Work came way after Gutter Sound. Came way after that. The Gutter Sound days was the Get It Ma Get It with DJ Trans and the Heavyweights, Fat Chris, Creek Dog, Charlotte Moe, you know, C-Mo, Rio, you know what I mean, that whole little era, like, and we was like one of the top people, you know, plus we did clubs too now. We used to promote clubs, we had boomers, we had doing all kind of clubs, you know what I'm saying? So that era was the time that I used to rap. I couldn't rap for nothing to save my life, but we did it. We made party songs and it was cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then so Watch Me Work came after that. Like Watch Me Work really started around by 2010 maybe. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Just making a good guess. So I did. The Watch Me Work came in there, and that was just me focusing on me being, you know, back to just DJing. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't rapping no more, nothing like that. Wasn't, you know, thinking about putting out no music. I was just like, let me focus on being the best DJ I could be.
Right.
And then that Watch Me Work is really what took me to the next level. Shout out to my homeboy Dirty. Like he really came when I linked up with him. He had a magazine, and they were pushing the magazine. I met him at Gutter Sound, but it was kind of like towards the end of me being around Gutter Sound. You know that they my family still to this day, man. I'm like my brothers. You know what I'm saying? But me just moving on with the DJ thing, just focusing on me. I met Dirty, and Dirty was a graphic designer pushing his magazine, and he really took a lot of time out of his life and believed in me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, back when I used to have to pay for covers, you know what I mean? He was like, man, I'm gonna make the covers for you. So he would push me, and you know what I mean? So we worked together for a long time, and I would say it was a good 6-7 years of my life between 2010 till about a good 6-7 years, starting from 2010, where I really went hard with mixtapes.
Right.
I had already been doing mixtapes, like, you know, my whole life, you know what I'm saying? But like really focusing on putting out mixtapes, hosting mixtapes, really putting them in the streets, you know what I mean? Like Dirty, he had stores. So he had distribution through stores in the city, like, you know, and I had my thing going on, and just like, we just had something real good going on, man. Yeah, man, and shout out Red Dog and all the CD people out in the city, man, that just, you know what I mean, really help spread people music, you know what I mean, and spread the mixtapes too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So how did you get involved with the doing it on the app?
What you talking about,
the mixtape app?
Talking about the Apple Music, or you talking about my mixtapes?
My mixtape.
Well, I had my own app at one time. Right. But my mixtapes, really, that just came through the music business, man. Like, I remember Surefire was one of their first DJs. And then when he got into it, I got into it, like hooked up with him. They had just came out. But I had already been rocking with live mixtapes and Dat Piff and all that. Like, I always had a good relationship with Dat Piff, spinning real live mixtapes. My mixtapes, you know what I mean? That came like probably like 2015, between 2015 and 2017, like, you know what I mean? Right. You know, but doing the mixtapes, like, so I would put out a lot of regular mixtapes, and then I was hosting people's mixtapes. You know what I mean? And
I definitely see your name ringing a lot. I mean, I like, you know how you download something from say YouTube, you know, download it from Napster, whatever, you know, whatever they had going on at the time, and you know, you'll hear DJ Winn, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, who is this DJ Winn guy? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, you know, I used to always like speak on. I was like, man, this man, he'll rock. He nice, you know what I'm saying? And then through a mutual friend, you know what I'm saying? We ended up meeting. And I was like, okay, this is the infamous DJ Winn.
Yeah. Shout out Vaughn, man. That's my brother.
Yes,
man.
Sir. That's family.
Mom used to be my school teacher at Gibbs, man. And then meeting him, not knowing that was his mom, you know what I'm saying? And then we became cool, man. Solid dude, man. Very. I would say two of my biggest mixtapes that I really appreciated that I did. It was 3 of them that I really appreciated the most. And I did one with Lil Flip one time out of Texas. That tape did a lot for me, man. It was just the raps that he rapped it on there, just had my name going through it a lot. So it was real custom. Right. It was one of one, you know what I mean? One to tape that he just gave everybody the same music. Like it was called Eye of the Tiger. He specifically made that tape for what we did, you know what I mean? And then much respect. Yeah, then I did one, I remember it was Memorial Weekend, and Rich Homie Quan had hosted one of the tapes. Right. It was like a Memorial Weekend edition, but he had gave me some exclusives on there. You know what I mean? That tape did really, really good numbers. And the biggest tape, though, that probably really spread my name in Florida with mixtapes was the one I did with Mook Boy, The Last Mohawk, the one with Juvie on it. That was probably one of the biggest tapes, because I couldn't go nowhere in the city or nowhere outside the city without hearing DJ Winn, DJ Winn. You know what I mean? So it's like that. Shout out to Mook Boy, you know what I'm saying? Cause I mean, he was locked up. He was, you know what I'm saying, up there in Ocala, and he would he would put it together, man. He was real raw this thing. Rod, Strange East from the Rod, he came to me and like, well, got to do this tape. But I had met Mook Boy way before that in Orlando one time at a underground radio station. Yeah, but shout out to Santana Banger, man. He put the beats around that thing, and we just all came together and put out a classic project. I feel like that's one of the most classic projects that Mook Boy ever put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can still play it to this day.
Yeah,
and it's still jumping.
Yeah, for sure.
Still jumping.
Yeah. So I just wanted. So as I was doing the mixtapes, I just was growing in who I was, how I was hosting them. You know what I'm saying? And then, so I stopped doing mixtapes. I think last year was my last year doing mixtapes. I only host mixtapes anymore. I really started getting into putting out albums like a DJ Khaled or a DJ Drama or a Scream.
That's why I put you in the realm with. When people ask me about you, I said, man, that's like the DJ Khaled of the Bay Area, man.
Right.
Like, you know,
it's always a good thing and a bad thing, but it's like it's a good thing and a bad thing. But I always want to let people know, like, I respect Khaled, I love Khaled. Like, it's all love, man. Like, if you a DJ or anybody, you gotta salute the man. The man is the top of the top. There's nobody bigger than him to me in hip hop. You know, not DJ wise.
You know how to orchestrate something.
Yeah, and the thing is, you gotta respect the man. The man put out 10, 13, 14 albums. The man put the work in from ground zero. You know what I'm saying? So, but the only stigma is that everybody be like, oh man, you're a DJ Khaled. Like, I don't want to be Khaled. Right. I'll never be Khaled. We're all individuals as ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So, when people say Khaled to me, I'll be like, okay, yeah, cool. In one instant, I'm like, I respect it, I appreciate it. In another instant, I'm like, man, it's Winn. You know what I mean? I want to be the next me. You know, and my path ain't our paths ain't gonna be like everybody else's path. Right. You know what I'm saying? Our paths are our own path. You know what I mean? And I walk my path, and he walk his path. I'll probably never be the multi-million dollar, you know, DJ that he is. You know what I'm saying? I might be the multi-million dollar motivational speaker or whatever else, you know, God got planned for me. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But so I got to a point in the music game where when I started talking on tapes and stuff, as I grew, you know what I'm saying? I matured. If you go back and listen to a tape from the early 2000s and listen to a recent project that I did, you could see the growth in it. I started just wanting to be part of the song, not necessarily being a DJ or a tag on a song. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? On the projects, you know what I'm saying? And then about 2 years ago, 2020, I retired from DJing at night because before COVID. Okay. I was already planning on doing it. It was like 2 years, I kept saying I'm gonna do it. But I was working on something because you can't leave one thing without making money doing something else. Yeah. So I just got good at video editing, learned how to do graphics just by watching and YouTube University. You know, that's what I call it. Go on YouTube to teach you almost anything. And I just learned that, and then I used to hate my voice too. That was another thing. Like, I really hated my voice, like talking on tapes and stuff like that. But my voice has made me more money than pretty much anything ever. Oh yeah, it's legendary. But to me, like, you gotta, you know what I mean, being comfortable in your own voice. Now I'm comfortable in my own voice. Right. Now it's like, I love it. Now it's like, okay, this cool, and it brings me money. I still cut, that's what I do for a living. Now I cut commercials. So before I retired out of the club, I didn't know I was going to retire at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't set a date on it per se, but I was putting it out there that I knew I was going to start DJing a nightclub. So, but I had another plan, so I was already like working. I had already toured with Coast to Coast for a year and a little over a year and a half. I toured the country with them, all over the country, Chicago, like we went everywhere. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So I'd be on the road for 2 weeks, traveling the country, building up my connections, and then I would come home and then people would be like, hey man, Pooh, I want you to host my mixtape. So it was like a good year and a half. I put a lot of work in, you know what I'm saying? And then, so when 2020 came, like I said, I had all this other stuff going on, so I knew I could walk away from the club. So I got booked in Port Charlotte. You know, y'all know what Port Charlotte's at. Port Charlotte. You know. So I was down there working for a promoter that always booked me down there, man. Got a lot of love in Florida, man. I ain't gonna lie, like, you know. So before I finish that little part, I just want to tell, because I get a lot of questions from DJs like, they used to wonder like, how did I build my name and get out there? This is before the internet was strong. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to like print up flyers, and I literally would go to these cities, outside these clubs, in these clubs, and I would just put my flyers out, put my mixed DVDs out, because I used to do the mixed videos. Right. Like I always had product. I always had T-shirts and hats and stickers. And I just go to these cities on my own time, my own gas, and I would promote myself. And then when a club owner be like, man, who you is? They check me out, and they be like, you know what? I'm gonna try you out. I'm gonna book you. So when they booked me, I would go in there and I would be the best DJ version of me being a DJ, and I would just light it up and do my thing. And then that's how I used to get booked. Like once a month, I'd be in this city, one time a week, and then the next, you know, I'd be in this city, and then this city, and this city. But I did it by going out there putting the footwork in. Yeah. Without that footwork, I would have never been able to accomplish what I accomplished.
Make your face known. Make your face known.
Yeah. You got to. You know what I'm saying? Because I was, kind of a little popular before, definitely way before social media, right, by putting in that footwork. You know what I mean?
But then being in these different cities though, it's different styles of music. How do you adjust?
It is. Well, you just know music. You learn your music fast. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like this is my thing. Even if I'm on a real tour DJ, like if I'm on tour with a famous artist, and I'm going into a city I ain't never been in, I'm gonna reach out to a DJ from that city and be like, hey, what's some of your hottest independent artists from your city that everybody know? That's your job as a DJ to do that. Right. People come to Florida, big time DJs now, they call me and be like, hey, Winn, I'm coming to this city, like what's hot in this city? And I send them the music or put them on the music. So you're supposed to do your research when it comes to that. So me, I just knew music, and I traveled a lot, so I knew, like, you see what I'm saying? I already knew it was popping, you know what I'm saying? Because I put so much work in. Yeah, and then when I was doing the music thing, like I used to travel a lot too. Like I remember touring with Bizzle. He had the Naked Hustle song, Led by an Animal. I was like a real close friend of mine, man. God bless him, man. Yes. You know, and we used to talk a lot on the phone. Like he took me on tour with him. Him and Fat Boy Rhymer, we used to all tour together, man. You know, we did a lot, man. But R.I.P. him, man. He was a solid dude, man. I met some solid people in the music, man. Not everybody was not good, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I appreciate all the real ones I met. But 2020, I'm in Port Charlotte. I'm down there DJing, doing my thing, whatever. Club lets out. I guess a dude got killed. I ain't hear no shot or nothing, but a dude got killed in the parking lot. And before I can grab all my equipment, because I always bring me a big ass speaker, because I like to hear. I'm just one of them DJs. I like to hear my music. Like if I'm in it, if I can't hear the music, I can't turn up. You know, and after 20 years of DJing, your ears ain't that good. Yeah. I gotta have a lot in my ear. So the dude got killed as the club let out or whatever. So I'm trying to. Word came back in, man. Somebody got shot. I ain't know nobody was there at the time. So I'm gathering my equipment, trying to get up out of it. Excuse me, and I get all my equipment to the car, but before I can get my final piece of equipment in there, police had roped off the whole parking lot. So it's like it was maybe about 60 or 70 of us that was stuck within them ropes. And people was leaving their car in the parking lot and catching Ubers and leaving or whatever. Right. And so we sat there, man. I remember they brought like 20 detectives in, and they had to question everybody. And I'm like, listen, man, you go look at that tape. Which they do anyway. You know, they went and pulled the tape from the club. I'm in that DJ and I ain't leave the booth the whole night. You know what I'm saying? You seen what I did, and I'm like, listen, I ain't even from this area. I don't even know nobody here. I live 3.5 hours down the road. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was like about 7, 8. It was daylight. It had got daylight. We still at the club, daylight. I've been to clubs where I've been, you know, shots going off, and you know, I've been plenty of them. Yeah. But this particular one was like the icing on the cake, man, because I never got stuck in a club where I had to be there until the next morning. Right. Daylight come up, they bring that little thing, and they put the thing around the guy, and you can still see underneath is the dead body laying there.
It didn't come up easy, I hated when I was broke. I swear my family need me, I never leave them alone. This world is too damn greedy, they got me against the ropes. Sometimes I want to jump, sometimes I'm just...
You gotta grow in life. You gotta evolve to be something different. You can't stay the same. Yeah. If you want change and you want growth, you gotta grow. You know what I mean? So I was just at a point in my life anyway. I was already talking about retiring. That incident happened, so to me it was perfect timing. Then COVID hit, And I had started my podcast, you know what I'm saying, but the podcast room, so COVID hit, so I was like, what am I really gonna do? But you know, I always put God in my life, so I wasn't really worried about it. And at that time too, I was DJing for an artist named Burger, and I remember we were supposed to go on tour 2020 with Moneybagg Yo on my birthday. That tour was supposed to start, but COVID hit, and so the tour got canceled. Well, got to put on hold, you know what I'm saying, right. Until this past year, we ended up going to do the tour. But I just sat home and did most of it. I made more money during COVID than I did DJing at these clubs, because everybody was home and people wanted to put out content.
Yes.
They wanted to continue to put out content, so I made a ton of money, and that just gave me away, and I just created pretty much a business out of it, you know what I mean? Just cut commercials, doing the motion graphics, flyers, different things like that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
You just mentioned about the tour.
Yeah, I ended up going, so the tour was amazing. So 2020 went by. Yeah, so before that, well, some people know, some people don't know, but anyway, like almost 10 years ago next month, my mom had got murdered. My mom got stabbed 13 times. Yeah, she was killed. And so for 10 years, I dealt with like a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of just not wanting to live and just trying to figure out life, you know what I'm saying? So for like I never quit. That's the thing I tell people, no matter what you go through, you know, you don't quit. And I always had a relationship with God too. I got saved in my second group on Plantation House. Shout out Ma Johnson. She took me to church, man, and I got saved in a Pentecostal church on 22nd Street South in Union, right here in St. Pete. I got saved and built a relationship with God. But God was always in my life, but I didn't do the right thing, obviously, for so many years. But there was a time in my life when I was, I think, early, like, about 2005, 2004. I was still, hustling in the streets a little bit too, and I wanted to get out the streets. I remember having a conversation with God, like, just let me live off my music. Some things that happened, I was like, let me live off my music, and I'm gonna just do all kind of positive stuff, and I did. And He allowed me to just live 100% off my music, from 2005 all the way till now. I literally just done music for a living, never had a side hustle, just left the streets alone 100%. Okay. Yeah. So after my mom got killed, for the first 4 years, I was numb, like numb, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't quit, you know what I'm saying? I always tell people, no matter what you go through in life, don't quit, So I just kept pushing hard, but I was like double time working, like to try to dull the pain. I was just working, you know what I'm saying? Just right. If I stayed busy, I felt like I wasn't gonna have to sit and think about it, you know what I mean? Right. But for the first 4 years of that situation, I was numb. So, but even after that, coming out of the numbness, I used to deal with a lot of depression. Like Mother's Day, I'll be depressed. The month she got murdered, her birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays, and so it's been a tough battle for like the last really 10 years. But so last year, 2021, after we did the run in Alabama, it was Mother's Day coming up, and I just got in my little depression. And I remember calling, talking to Burger and the label who I was working for, and I was like, man, I just don't want to be on the road no more. And then I was just at a point in my life, I was just talking to God, and I was going to church more. By that time, I had been going to church like almost 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, like going to church, just getting closer to God already, you know what I mean? Even though I was still in the music and, doing what I do. But yeah, 2021. Last year, I quit doing the tour DJing, but I told Burger, shout out Burger, man, he's a good friend of mine, good, solid dude, solid artist, but I told him, I said, listen, if you absolutely need me, when tour time comes, and you can't find nobody else, I'll do the tour. He could find somebody. He told me, he was like, man, I knew he had people. He just was like, man, I wanted you to do it. And I worked with him, so, we worked good together. We kind of knew each other, so we had a thing. So anyway, so from May till October of 2021, I didn't even do music. People don't even know. Like, I would be in the studio, like, working on songs, you know what I mean, for like my second album, because I put my first album out 2020, like the DJ Khaled type album. I put my first album out called Slim Chance, July 17, 2020, and that really did good. Shout out to Hard Target, Struggle Jennings. They did the River song for me. That was like the best streaming song on that project. I did. Shout out to Jimbo World. I had him on there. Tony Boy from Orlando was on there. Tom G, Moot Boy was on there. C Bane, OTM Frenchie was on there. Heather Marie was on there. Free Blooded J was on there. Project Youngin was on there. Lil Bike was on there. Six Cold Slugger was on there on the Hot Song. We did the video for it. That was like the first time, like, you know what, I'm gonna put this album together, you know what I mean? I did it, and it did great for me, you know what I'm saying? It did really good. And then like back to 2021, May, I didn't do music for almost like 6 months. Actually, I really wasn't even in the studio, now I think about it. For 6 months, I was just getting closer to God. That's it, just building my relationship with God and just praying for direction and like where I was gonna go next in my life. Because if anybody ever followed my career, I always level up or always move on to the next thing, you know what I'm saying? And one thing about me is I always pull people up on my way up. I never thought I was better than nobody. I always just showed love. I always went to the younger DJs coming up, or not even the younger DJs. Maybe they just didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like I always gave information and I always wanted to see other people win. And when you do that, man, you do that with a pure heart, your blessings are always going to be there, you know what I'm saying?
True.
So I was just praying to God, figuring out what I wanted to do, and then God really put it on my heart to do motivational speaking. You know what I'm saying? So I already had it in my mind, and I had an opportunity. I don't know if y'all know who Charlie is, but Charlie gave me an opportunity. He had a speaking engagement at Johns Hopkins Medicine down here in St. Pete, and he came in town. They booked him to speak to their whole facility. He brought me down, and I surprised me. He told me to come out to it, and then he brought me down and kind of made me part of his speaking thing. And I think that day there, I was like, man, this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? So October came. I was gonna go to Africa on a church mission, and I think I had got COVID, and so I didn't end up doing that, and I got through COVID. You know what I'm saying? And then tour time came. Bergen was like, hey man, we got a DJ, but we don't know if we can make all the dates. But I think that was just them trying to get you in. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I told them I'd do it, you know what I'm saying? So we went on a 21 city tour. I think we ended up doing 14 dates out of the 21 because a lot of the cities had COVID restrictions. So they canceled a lot of the shows because they wanted people coming with vaccinations. And so we ended up doing 14 cities. And it probably was the most amazing tour. Like I turned up every city. I had such a good time. And we practiced. That's the thing. Like we went 2 days before tour. I went up there and brought all my DJ equipment. We rehearsed like 7-8 hours a day for 2 days. You know, making sure we had our show tight. And he's such a great performer that all I had to do was do my job. You know what I'm saying? I had 3 minutes to turn up the crowd, and I would go in there and light it up. Yeah. I don't know if you ever seen any of the footage, man. But I went crazy, and then he would come on, and he's such an entertainer. They loved him, and it was just an amazing thing. So when I came off that tour, I just wanted to follow my heart, do motivational speaking. So I started doing that. So I've been talking in middle schools, high schools, churches, just really following my heart and passion for motivational speaking. Going to juvenile prisons. I've been going to there and doing speakings. And it's been amazing. And then recently, it's a country, I ain't gonna say country rapper, but it's a Christian rapper that has a little country twang to him. And my brother put me on his music, and I reached out to him, and he didn't have a DJ, and he came to Florida, and he was like, man, I want you to come DJ a couple of my shows, because I was done DJing.
Right. That's when you took the picture and you had your equipment in the back, and you were standing next to him like.
I don't know. It was recently. This is like it was like a week or two ago, a couple weeks ago. But he's a Christian rapper, so he gets booked at churches.
Right. It was in the church.
Yeah. It was in the church. Yeah. So he booked me for 2 shows, like a tryout thing. But he paid me, and went out there and DJ. It was great. It was amazing, man. And so now I'm like pretty much going to be his official DJ, and we're going, probably going some tours in some cities. But it's like how God works. It's like if you pray for something, to ask for God. Like I asked God to flip it all around. I asked God to take all my talents that I did with the other music and bring it towards Him, and He did it in like not even a year. It's just amazing, man. When you really put Jesus in your life and really chase God and just build that relationship with Him and step out on faith.
See, everything manifests through Him.
Yeah, yes, sir. And anything is possible. So, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. Yeah, man, I'm just excited for what God's doing in my life, and I'm real excited just to talk to kids and just, elevate to that next level, man.
That's what's up, man. Well, Winn, I appreciate you, man, for coming on the set, man. And
my thing is, too, man, I really like what y'all doing. I like people that starting at the bottom. I like to see it grow. So for me, like I was telling you, Vaughn's like my brother. We always been cool, man. We friends. You doing this here, like, I come to support you, my brother.
Thank you, man.
If this helps your platform, y'all platform grow few viewers more than what it might have had or whatever, man, whatever it is, like, I'm appreciative of y'all having me. I always tell people, man, you got to live in this world and have humility, you know what I mean, no matter what, willing to be teachable, no matter what age. A lot of times you get a lot of people, first of all, stay humble, but you get a lot of people older that don't want to listen to the younger generation because they think they know it all. And you get a lot of people that just think they know everything. You can't know everything. I learned everything from the young generation. That's what keeps you relevant.
Right.
How could you ever, but you get a lot of people stuck in their ways because they're so stuck in that. You know what I mean? I just tell people don't be that way. And I've always stayed humble. You know what I mean? God has always humbled me. And that's the spirit I feel like He gave me. And I'm thankful for that. You know what I mean? To have that humble spirit. But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me. And like I said, man, I'm gonna come back.
For sure.
Come to rock with y'all, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Swim, I don't know what it is. Somebody save me from drowning. Will I sink or swim? I don't know what it is. Somebody say nobody see me, I'ma save myself. Yeah, I swear that I'm the best, but they won't give me my best.